Hey guys, welcome back. So, as I was preparing for the next little upcoming mini series within this series of Reflex DOM, which will be focused on JSaddle and doing JavaScript, custom JavaScript, I realized that I neglected to go over kind of a certain concept, which is, well, this video. Um, Dynamic updating of or dynamically updating the DOM or having a DOM that changes in response to events. And so we'll look at a couple functions today. Those two will be widgetHold and then dine. Um, actually, I'm just going to pause the video for a second. Needed to clear the slate. Yeah, so let's look at that, and we'll do this rather quick. And so what we are actually doing here is we are effectively just replacing this logic that we have in plain JavaScript, so that we can do it in a FRP manner. So we always have really document dot sum query selector dot sum attribute equals this new value. Um, for example, document.getElementById, by ID. There's an element that has the ID value of some ID, and we are going to set the inner text to being hello. I tried the div actually in an earlier take of this video, but it did not work. Um, I do need to actually set the inner well, yeah, I would need to. If I wanted to add a div, I would need to use the inner HTML. But I feel like I've done that before. Like I don't know. So definitely a hack. But anyways, this is the core of what we are doing, and so we don't need to write this JavaScript in an imperative way. We can instead use events to set this up, and we can do so because of. I'm just gonna close that off. We can do so because of the two functions here. So I'll start with widgetHold. Um, Actually, I'll start with dine. So dine takes a dynamic t ma and will give us back m event ta. And so what this means really nothing to us. Um, what really matters, the core thing that will give us a little bit of information is the MA. The relevant information, suppose. Um, and so what this MA is, well, in the case of what we want to do, it could be a DOM builder. So this MA could very much be quite literally, L div uh, text hello, because we see that this is the type of MA, and further that is constrained to being DOM builder, which is what we want. So, and of course, we need to build this dynamic somehow, and that will result in um, a dynamic value of the DOM, which we can then use to display through dine, right? So we're building up this dynamic DOM, which is what this value represents, and then we use dine to say this segment of the DOM can be the result of any of these, this dynamic value. And what the event is effectively. So I looked into this and I was wondering why you have the post build constraint. Adjustable and not ready are definitely a little bit out of scope of this lesson, but effectively what is happening is that we have a post build, get post build is being used, and we get the post build event of basically whenever this DOM element is done updating, it will fire an event, and so we are going to map like how with let's say we had instead of this text hello, we said pure 1, then we would instead see that we have mint, and so that would eventually result in having an event tint. And that's, I imagine, just because we're, effectively taking this value and then f mapping it over the event. Um, in some way. I do not know the internals of this. I don't necessarily care, nor do I need to care. And yeah, so let's actually do this now. So we're gonna set it up through dine. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna say let new DOM equal L div, oh my, text old. And this is going to be, I'm just going to make this very clear. This is new DOM is of type DOM builder TM. It'll be a unit because text returns a unit. And that is the last result of this shell. So now we can use hold dine to create a dynamic. That's kind of our go-to way for creating any dynamic. It's the simplest way to do so. And so we'll start by saying that we have, well, some old DOM. So old DOM will be instead just L div text. Dumb. I am silly. So that is our new DOM, our old DOM. And so we will see the DOM switch over when we get started. I'm going to start running this. And we'll see it's actually quite simple. So the first value for our whole dine, our initial value, is of course going to be old DOM. And then what we're going to say is that we are going to, well, how we're going to do this is we're going to map, fmap-ish, the fmap with replace, let's call it. Fmap destroy? I don't know. That's a better name, I think. Fmap destroy is going to be putting this new DOM over our event. And so we're going to have click is going to yield this new DOM, and we're going to switch over to this DOM. But now that results in dynamic widget, we shall call it. And the type of this will be, if you can guess, encourage you to, it'll be dynamic TMA, which fits this type signature here. And then we say DOM builder TM, because technically this is constrained to being, the M is constrained to needing an instance of DOM builder TM with respect to some T, which is of course just our timeline. And yeah, I think this is going to give me an error. It's going to ask for a language extension of rank and types. And so, except that's not really. There we go. And this is just, so why I'm getting this error that could not deduce DOM builder is that there's no, since I have not used dynamic widget, there is no way for Haskell to infer what the type of this M is. So right now this constraint is not being met. So this is nothing to worry about. All we have to do is say, well, now that we have our argument, we just pass it to dine. And so we say dine dynamic widget. And now everything is jolly. If we go here, and what do? We set it up with the first click event, so click me, and we say click me, and it changes. You can see if we go, just do it again, and you look at the DOM here, this is what's going to change. And so we see that it changed to a new div, and yeah, not not the biggest change we ever made here, but we can use this for any sort of structure to how we want to make a dynamic DOM. And so let's say we want to kind of toggle back and forth between the two cases. How we can do this is by saying our old DOM, which of course we can use as a value here. And we'll set this with click 2. So anytime we do click 2, it will set the value to being old DOM. If it's, just to be very verbose about it, if it is the old DOM and we click, 2, we click 2, it will switch from old DOM to old DOM, which will look like nothing. But if we do something more exciting, like switching from the old DOM to the new DOM, or from the new DOM to the old DOM, we will see the change happen. I got this before, and it crapped me out. Alright. So now, click 2 will set this back to old DOM. It looks like something is actually happening right here. But not very excitingly so. So we got new and improved, and then we switch back to old, and this just allows us to kind of toggle back and forth. We could literally use toggle, but the toggle function, but whatever. Now the other function, which is quite helpful for us, this is a little bit easier to use, is widgetHold. And so widgetHold, how we would this is a little bit easier because there's less that we have to do to set this up, basically. So we see that it starts with the original widget, and then the event will deliver the new widget. And so it's a lot easier to read too, right? It's basically doing hold dine inside of widgetHold, I imagine. Yeah. And I won't check just for the sake of not overloading, but it's got to be using hold dine. And this would even make sense because we have this monad hold constraint, which is one of the things you can use it for is the hold dine function. And so yeah, which is why I wanted to show this as well. But anyways, so this is now really simple. We just say old DOM over click. And okay, and so now we have two of these going at once. So we say click. Both of these change to new and improved, but we haven't set up anything for the next one, so it has no way of changing from this new and improved DOM. Only up for it, I suppose. And so, anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're excited for the next part of the series. I will go into quite a bit of detail about JSaddle, as I think it is helpful to have a high-level, hopefully well-explained analysis of how it works internally, because the technology is beautiful. Just, oh my gosh. So, yeah, excited for that, and I hope you are too. Enjoy, and happy coding.